Here we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Frank Corbin. I am the host today at the Young and Rich University. This platform is designed for those who want to retire young, retire rich, using the number one wealth building tool, real estate. I don't invest in anything else, maybe other businesses, but that's about it. But for the most part, we think that real estate is what we can use to transitioning wealth from one generation to the next. And we just kind of focus on that and take to the next level. And we also educate folks who wants to follow the same business model. And it's pretty simple. Now, I hope you guys had a wonderful summer. I sure did. Had a blast of a time. And now we're back to business, back to doing the podcast, back to doing more and more sales, back to helping folks who wants to take their finances to the ultimate level and change your financial situation. Now, there's many times people have the world of things going on in their brain of how they want to become wealthy and how they want to become successful. Oftentimes, there's not a really structured plan. If you really want to grow, you need a plan and then you need discipline to follow through with that plan. Without that, most of you are just going to be wasting your time. Great ideas, no plan, no discipline, no results. Keep going back and forth, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years gone by, and your lifestyle has not changed, your situation has not changed. We don't really operate in that manner. My brain don't calculate unstructured or lack of structure environment. It gets me very, very uncomfortable. Okay, I don't like things that are just not structured very well. Because over time, we have seen that when there's proper structure in place, everybody wins. You understand that, folks? When there's proper structure in place, everybody wins. And many times we tend to compare the first world country to the third world country. And that's a very good example. In the first world country, we have proper structures in almost every different level. So you're talking about manufacturing, you talk about infrastructure, you talk about healthcare structure, real estate structure, insurance structure, job structure. It's structured. That's why we are leading the world as a first world structured countries. That's important. In the third world country now, everything goes the opposite. You do what you want to do, whenever you want to do it, and however you want to do it. And if you know good people, you can do bad. If you know good people, you also can do good. Lack of knowing good people, guess what? You cannot survive beyond basic. You might get food, you might get shelter, you might get water, and you might get electricity. Zero structure. So it's a very simple example that when you put structure in place, everybody wins. Okay? Everybody wins. So our social impact or social footstep is beyond just a few of us. It goes to everyone in the country. And that's why we like this part of the world. That's why we don't invest in third world countries. We invest in the third world countries because first world country has structures, political structures, police structures to protect the people who can't protect themselves. And more important, financial structure. You know, I've never, from age 18 in Canada, I've never one day or 1 year not seen any form of financial education being offered around me. I've never been in that environment. I'm starting going to seminars at age 19, 20, financial seminars, real estate seminars. There's always been financial education being offered in this part of the world to help people change their financial situation. If you go into the banks around from November, December to whatever, they're offering you financial advice, to RRSP, so all this kind of stuff. Even though I don't invest in them, these products still works. It's just doesn't work for me. From financial advisor come knock on your door trying to sell you life insurance and SEC funds and all this kind of stuff. These things are financial structure being put in place to help the masses develop their finances over time, set up for retirement, and so on and so on. There's always been available to us if you live in this part of the world. Now, choosing not to use it is a personal choice, but it's always been there. I personally have maximized all of them in my initial stage of creating wealth. And I just kind of steer out and just focus on real estate because I find it gives me a best price to value. and best value for time. Okay. So I kind of focus on that. So what were we talking about today? I hope you had a good summer. We're talking about investment. We're talking about real estate. We're talking about taking your portfolio to the next level. Today, I don't have a structure. Unfortunately, I don't have a structure today. I'm just going to freestyle my content. I'm going to freestyle my information. But even though I don't have a structure today because I'm a structured person, there's going to be a structured concept to what I'm saying today. It's just not fine-tuned the way I normally do it. Okay, I said, let me get back, turn on the cameras. Let me just start talking about stuff. Let's speak what's on my mind. I'm freestyling it today and tell you guys what it actually I'm thinking. Okay. Now, the focus I want to structure things today is real estate, folks. Real estate is still and always will be the number one wealth building tool. I'm going to repeat myself, folks. Real estate is still and will always be the number one wealth building tool. Having said that, there's an opportunity available today in the real estate market. About 20 up to 30% down in values across most cities, except for a couple here and there. 15, 20, 30% down in most places. That means there's an opportunity for you, and you get into the marketplace and invest. So some folks say, Frank, what I'm finding this money from? Well, this is an old money concept. Or if you're just lucky to get into a property that has lots of equity. So if you bought your property a few years ago, beyond the post-COVID spring, when the market went up in value, you purchased a few years before that, and the market come down now, and you still have equity in your home, you should not be sitting on the sideline. Are you listening to me, folks? If you bought your property pre-COVID, few years pre-COVID, and the market went up shortly after COVID, and the market come back down now, and as of now, the market's probably the lowest point, you're probably going to see it, and you have equity in your home, you should not even be thinking twice. You should not even be thinking twice. This is a time for you to refinance your house, get money out, and start to invest. It's pretty simple. You have proven that real estate works. You have living evidence that even on a down market, you're still winning with positive equity. You should not be on the sideline right now, folks. My number, 1-888-88-REMIC. 1-888 isn't come up somewhere here. 1-888-88-REMIC, folks. My name is Frank Corbin. I'm the broker of record of REMIC Realty, Inc. REMIC Realty, Inc. It's my real estate brokerage firm with decades of experience with a modern outlook. We're going to help investors invest in real estate and change their financial situation. If the market went up, if you bought pre-COVID, the market went up, and the market go down now 20, 30%, and you see equity, still have positive equity in your house, you'll be a fool to be sitting on the sideline. I kid you not. You need to be taking money out of that house, refinance, and start looking to buy a second and a third property, folks. Listen to me. A second and a third property. This is how you build wealth. This is how you establish wealth for the next generation. You at least have about 20 or 30% positive to go before you go to two new market highs. So you understand this, folks? So for instance, if in 2022, your property were selling for $1 million, because the market went down, your property is now worth $700,000. You buy back a similar property to yours now at, let's say, 720, 730. But let's assume you bought your original property at 550 or even 490. You have positive equity plus your down payment. You have positive equity in your property. So now the property at 750, 720, you can actually take some equity out and buy back a similar property to yours. Your property now can at least reach $1 million a few years from now. That gives $300,000. And if the property go to 1.2, what do you get now? $500,000. That's called leverage. That's called dollar cost average. You buy one at 490, one at 720, and the list goes on. If you're not thinking of doing that, folks, if you're not thinking of doing that, then something need to be readdressed, realigned. You need to have a financial conversation with somebody who's highly financially intelligent beyond you. And let me show you folks something. This stuff is not very tricky. It's very simple. So what we do here at Remic Realty Inc. with our investment clients, we take the stock market, the mutual funds market, the financial market strategies, and we implement it to a real estate. You understand, folks? Pretty simple. We take the financial market strategies and we align it with real estate. That's why we do so well. That's why our portfolio does so well. That's why our investors does so well. We are a living example of what we sell is what we also do. You have the same issues like you. Same issues qualifying for mortgages, qualifying for loans. We go through the same process. This is not what's selling you a dream. This is what we're doing for ourselves. We're buying 2 or 3 properties. Sometimes we make money, barely, sometimes we lose a little money here and there. Doesn't matter. We are a living example of what we sell is what we buy. And what we're telling you today, for real estate is still and always will be the #1 wealth building tool to take finances to the next generation. You understand? The next generation. It's very difficult to transfer and grow wealth in many other sectors and cycles without real estate being a part of it. Are you with me? 1-888-88 REMIC. Call my office. Schedule a telephone appointment. Schedule in-person appointment if needed be. Let us connect you to the right mortgage brokers. Let us connect you to the people who can help you change your financial situation. It's if you've been around for too long in this country and you haven't hit your financial goals, there's a high chance that you're talking to the wrong people. You have the wrong group of people around you. You have the wrong circle of influence. Your 5 marksmen. Your circle of influence is very poor. Your 5 marksmen or markswomen. This is 5 people you can call on any given day that would have something positive to tell you to change your financial situation. Anything else I don't care about. All we care about is money here. Okay? Changing your financial situation. That's what's important. When you have money, everything else are easily solved. So for instance, if you have money, you have a mental adjustment needed, you can actually pay for proper therapy. Like I did and many others in the past. You can pay for proper therapy. If you have money and you don't feel so well, or you feel you need some change, you can change your diet and afford it. You can actually pay for proper food. That's important. If you have money and you need to adjust yourself education-wise, you can pay for the proper education, you pay for the proper school, you pay for the proper information. But when you lack in money, almost every sector of your life gets affected. Okay? Every sector of your life gets affected when you lack in money. Money is the answer to most things. Okay? Now, does money solve every problem? Of course not. We know this. But money gives you opportunity and options to solve any other problem you may have. So we focus on the money first. Now, money doesn't grow on a tree. And money doesn't multiply itself. It takes you, the genius, the smart person, the person with a vision. It takes you to understand the process and manage that process from the beginning to the end in order to become wealthy. My mentor always tells me, says, there's 2 types of people in this world. There's people who wants to be rich, and there's people who want to look rich. You choose which one of you want to be. If you want to be rich, you do the things that the rich people do. If you want to look rich, you do the things that the middle class do. They just buy things to look good in front of their friends and family members. But the actual desire for money is just not there. Middle class people make money and give it back to the world in less than 30 days. Are you hearing that? I want you to think of that for a second. Yeah, you think about that for a second. Let's throw this down a bit. The middle class folks, they make money and give it back to the market in 30 days. You know why they do that? They don't understand how real wealth gets built. A lot of them don't have the right tool in their portfolio to build wealth. They own a house, but they don't own lots of real estate. Now, what we just said, real estate is still and always be the number one tool to building wealth from generation to generation. Let's go to this back again, folks. The middle class makes money or generate income to give it back to the marketplace within 30 days. And that's why most of the people in the middle class are living paycheck to paycheck, just enough to cover the basic essentials, and they can't grow past that. They're giving it back at the end of the month. Sit with a financial advisor, folks. Understand your disposable income. How much money is left after all expenses being paid, including your cell phone bill and your gas to get to and from work? And if there's nothing, you're a typical middle class. You make it every month and give it back to society. Yet you want to be rich. No, 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 no. More important, you need a financial plan. Otherwise, what's the sense of doing it? If you're just going to make it every month and give it back to the marketplace, what's the sense? So what we're going to do is sit with you one-on-one. You can schedule your appointment, and we're going to assess your finances, what you're currently doing. We're going to assess your finances, what you're trying to accomplish. And folks, we're only going to focus on real estate. We're only going to structure real estate in your portfolio, nothing else. And we're going to create the plan and help you out to align with the right discipline, so you understand that real estate is still, always will be, the number one wealth building tool to change your family financial situation. The phone number is 1-888-887-3642. That's 1-888-887-3642, or simplify it, 1-888-88-REMIC. 1-888-88-REMIC. My name is Frank Corbin, and I'm going to help you in a step-by-step process. Now, we only have a few months or a couple months or 3-4 months before the end of the year. So we got to start sitting and talking about what you plan on doing for early next year, or we plan on doing for the rest of the year if you still have time to get things structured very well for you. And once we figure that out, we're going to help you connect with the right people, the right mortgage brokers, the right lawyers, right, everyone, to get your financial situation going to the next level. And that's so important, folks. I'm not sure where some of you come from and whether you were born here, you come from a different country. But I know my parents brought me from a third world country, and they traveled thousands of miles to get here. It would be a shame if I didn't maximize the opportunity of the first world country. I feel like I let them down or something. I feel like a total loser to be in the number one country in the world, or one of the number one countries in the world, and have all the resources from education to a system in place to be financially wealthy or be successful. And all I was focusing on is buying a house, buying a car, and going a couple vacations a year, and I can post my food and drinks and travel plans on social media. I feel like a loser doing that. I literally would feel like a loser doing that. I couldn't live with myself. I couldn't be a proud dad to tell my kids, hey, go take student loan and go to school and educate yourself. Student loan? There's nothing wrong with student loan. I can take it. But for me, I have to have a plan in place for my kids who have to take student loans, because we know what that does. The student loan is your first mortgage. Once you finish university or college, you have to pay it. Then you get a car loan. We find money for savings and all this kind of stuff. So I feel like a total loser to have my kids have to duplicate my mistakes or the things I couldn't afford at the time. When we live in the first world country, have all the resources and everything that we need to change our kids and us financially. I feel like a total loser if I have to work all the way at age 65 or 75. Then have to retire to live 10 years, then die. Or live 20 years, then die. Come on, ask yourself this question, folks. Who doesn't want to retire young and retire rich? Who doesn't do that? Not everyone wants to retire young and retire rich. But everyone wants to have the option or have the money to at least retire young and retire rich. My name is Frank Corbin, and I'm the broker of record of Remick Realty Inc. It's a real estate brokerage firm that helps our clients build wealth. And folks, we talk about real estate is still and always will be the number one wealth building tool to change generational wealth. And it's important that you secure some properties. It's important that you secure some properties for yourself, your kids, and take your finances to the next level. If you have any questions, feel free to send me email, text, and let's have a conversation of where we can help you change your financial situation. Because I see too many people here trying, but not reaching the level they want to reach. I've seen too many people doing that. So we can have a one-on-one conversation to see how I can help you change your financial situation. If I can't, I know a lot of people in place that can go through the process with you. 1-888-88-REMAKE. My name is Frank Corbin. I'm the broker of record of Remick Realty. I'm the host also of this Young and Rich University podcast. So we will be talking a lot about real estate, credit, wealth building, both Canada, United States. And if you have any questions or if you have any topic you want us to discuss, you send us an email, send us a text, and we can get it going to educate you on anything you need to know about wealth building. To your success. See you then. Yeah, real estate is still the number one wealth building tool. Still and always will. Despite what people might think, what people might be experiencing, the market is going down or the market is down, but it doesn't matter. Now's the time to invest. Buy one property, two property, doesn't matter. Buy more than just your home. And buy more than just a single family home. And change your finances to the next level. Just like many people, I came in this country with nothing. Only had $86 in my pocket. I bought my first duplex in South Etobicoke, finished the basement, have a duplex plus basement, and then it started from there on. Start from one property to the two property, three property, and three property, and three property, and three property, and four property, and four property, and four property. And all of a sudden, you wake up one morning like, oh crap! I actually did all of this. I'm a superstar. And we say, okay, well, we can't be selfish. We understand the concept. The more you give, the more you shall receive. That's what we learned. Some people are selfish. So once we know the more you give, the more you shall receive, we start giving. I start sharing everything I know with all the people I used to like. And I share the people I start liking because I get new people all the time around me. And once we start sharing the information, I see people start taking action and I see people finances start changing. And then we know we're on the right path. We structure them to invest in their self and not just Carabana and other mediocre programming they were doing. And festival, invest in yourself, invest in your kids, invest in your kids' future. My name is Frank Corbin and the broker of record of Remick Realty. To your success. See you then. I'm out for now.